peaceful and respectful dialogue between all three great nations now. And playing into China's hands is also the Vajra Congress. They're blaming the Indian government for China's dirty politics. Cornered on the global platform over COVID investigation, it seems China wants to get back at India by using its neighbors. Should those living and earning in India take a stand for India's sovereignty at this time? Let's debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this debate, I'm joined by Minendra Rijal, member of the House of Representatives of Nepal's Parliament, former Minister of Information and Technology in Nepal. Mr. Minendra Rijal, thank you for joining me. We're also joined by Subhash Ghimire, he's Editor-in-Chief of the Republica Daily from Kathmandu, and Prakash Rimal, Editor of the Himalayan Times, also from Kathmandu. Thank you very much, Prakash ji, Subhash, for joining me. On the Indian side, we have Sushant Sareen, General G.D. Bakshi. Sushant Sareen is Senior Fellow at the Observer Research Foundation. General G.D. Bakshi is a well-known strategic affairs writer and editor of the Indian Military Review, and Syed Zafar Islam, spokesperson of the BJP. Thank you, gentlemen. I would like to start by asking you, Mr. Rijal.
Yes.
That you must understand, and I don't want to be giving gratuitous advice to you, maybe General Bakshi can debate this with you better, but China is nobody's friend. China is alone in the world now. In the world community, China is alone. You are also very aware that this sudden interest in Indian territory, it's laughable. You are, of course, an important nation, but if you think you're squaring off with India on border issues, you should be dreaming. It's never going to happen. We're not going to talk to you about it. But I only wanted to start by telling you this, that the Lipulek Pass in Kalapani, which is in Indian territory, is a very important vantage point for India to keep an eye on Chinese movements. So strategically, we keep an eye on Chinese movements for a long time. Yeah, let me complete my question, sir. My question is, China, I believe that you are just being egged on by China. China is using you because Lipulek Pass in Kalapani is an important strategic point for India to keep an eye on Chinese movements, right, for a long time, for more than 40, 50 years, right? You must not compromise the India-Nepal friendship just to give China a small strategic advantage. Also, personally, I am of the view that it makes Nepal look like a what you call a rentier state of China. You need not take Chinese foreign policy as your own interests, and you should not aggravate the situation with India. Now, you are free to make your point. Yes, go ahead, sir.
First of all, I mean, the way you're saying me, it sounds like you're giving me a statement, giving me a message. That's certainly not the style how television interviews are done in Nepal. First of all, I mean, if you ask me where Nepal stands, what are the facts, how we think this should be resolved, and then I'll be able to answer that question. I very strongly would like to put this fact that the border issue is an outstanding issue. India is committed to resolve this through bilateral means, diplomatic means. This is precisely what your government has said. I mean, when we sent a note that the foreign secretaries of both sides should hold meeting, hold consultation, the letter that we received was once two nations and two societies are done dealing with the challenges of the COVID-19 crisis, then two countries can sit down. We have said, I mean, this can be done even earlier. So I would not like to incite this further, but the thing is, we have said very clearly that we would like to present all the evidences that are there, and then government of India can also produce its evidences. No. Both sides can sit down and talk, and then this could be resolved.
You know, that way with
China is not doing, and what I should do and what I should not do. This is not what you should be saying.
Mr. Rijal,
you may disagree with me.
Mr. Rijal, let me tell you what is offensive. I am being very subtle and very polite. On the other hand, may I tell you
No,
what
you are
is
not.
may
No, you are not.
may I tell you what is offensive? I'll give you an example. And I don't know how interviews are done in Nepal, but I know how they are done in India. This is how we do it. Your country's prime
Okay,
minister
but
has said.
look, first of all, let me make it very clear that if we do not respect as people of two different nations, if we do not respect each other as individuals who have their views and their
comment
maybe
from
disagreements, then we probably would not have a very nice conversation. We have to be very clear on that.
Yeah, the problem is that your prime minister
When you
said,
say you should do it, you should do this.
I'm okay. So I'll get you into the debate with General Bakshi. I'll get you into the debate with General Bakshi. But I'll tell you this,
Of course.
that your country's prime minister said that the coronavirus strain coming from India is more lethal than the coronavirus strain coming from China. Can you explain this? What kind of a comment is that?
First, look.
Why did he say that?
Look, I will. Can I answer your question?
Yeah, sure.
First of all, the government, the prime minister, and there are issues that we differ. We are in the opposition. He is in the government. There might be issues. The way this is presented, there could be differences. But the thing is, on the border issue, we're together. On the border issue, we fully support the position prime minister has taken. How he presents it is his style. Different leaders in the world.
I was just very intrigued. I was just very intrigued that. And now I hand over to GD Bakshi and Sushant and others who want to debate with you. I was just very intrigued. What is the epidemiological or scientific basis?
Mr. Arnab,
you see, Mr. Rijal.
Have patience to listen to
Mr.
this.
Rijal, can I make one point and I'm going to listen to you? But I want to know how did the Nepalese Prime Minister say that the China coronavirus strain is good, but the India coronavirus strain is bad? I mean, it's crazy.
I am not
Why
an
is he
expert
making
in
this
corona.
comment?
I cannot answer your question.
It's a pattern, I see.
I approve of Prime Minister. Hang on. I approve Prime Minister position on the border issue. I approve. Have full support for
what's happened, and why are you bent on spoiling the relationship?
That's none of my business.
So why are you? All Indians are asking you. We like Nepal. We've had good relations with Nepal. Narendra Modi went to Nepal. What has come over Nepal? You suddenly want to fight with India? I mean, I don't know what's going on. Okay. Let GD Bakshi respond to you, sir, now, please.
Okay, but let me make one point. Please, let's respect each other. We are people of two different nations. There are the border issue is an outstanding issue. I should not be telling what you should be doing. You cannot be telling me what I should be doing.
No, you do what is in your best interest, but think of the long-term consequences.
Yes, of course.
Yes, General Bakshi.
Yes, of course.
I would like to state to my Nepalese friends, as the Indian Army sees it, we have the rishta of roti beti with the people of Nepal, right? Very few, no other country we have this. I would go a step further. I would say that we have the rishta of blood, khoon. Gurkha soldiers, Gurkha boys in our Gurkha regiments have fought in each and every one of the wars that we fought with Pakistan, with China. They have shed blood for our country. We, especially in the Indian Army and the Indian nation, will never forget this. Please understand this. Please understand this. I think we did a, let me speak to you very frankly. Thank you. I am telling you very frankly, in our Congress era, we Indians have scored a self-goal by helping the Maoists come to power in Kathmandu. Look what they have done to you and what they have done to our relations, right? Relations which was so deep, so fraternal. Nobody needs a passport from Nepal to come to India and vice versa, right? Does it happen with every country? We have a fraternal, deep relation. At one time, you were the only Hindu country in the world. You were one of the bastions of our culture. We are astounded. We have been taken aback that you are siding with China, and I will give you the reason for it. Please, let me be frank and talk as friends. Can talk frankly to one
Can I
another.
respond to that?
Can I just finish?
General, can I respond to that?
No, I'll just finish.
Yeah.
Then I would love to hear you. I would love to hear you. I would hear you with the fullest respect. I am saying, a month plus back, there was a political crisis in Nepal. With due apologies, because of the corruption of the present government, a lot of your legislators were upset and the government almost fell. You remember that? That was the time. Let me be blunt and straightforward. The Chinese came to the rescue of the present establishment. They rescued you. Well, they paid a lot of people. They paid a look. Let's talk honestly, because friends can be very straightforward. They paid the present government, and they are now under duress to raise the border issue. You think we are going to fight with you? It is beneath the Indian Army. And the Indian Army is not interested in fighting with you, especially when the road which you are talking of, as it is west of the river, of the Kali River, Mahakali River.
Can I now,
the only question
can I
is
now respond to that?
Okay. Please.
Can I respond to that? First, I agree with you. Nepal and India have a special relationship. I do not agree that China has to do anything with what happens here. I do not agree this probably you can say for the public consumption in India. I can understand that. But the thing is,
Can I give you an evidence of that?
India has its own position. Nepal has its own position. Eminent Persons Group has identified this point as outstanding border point.
Which Eminent Persons Group, sir?
Both sides have
Which
agreed
Eminent
that this will
Persons
be-
Group,
this has
sir?
to be
One
resolved
second. Which
diplomatically.
Eminent Persons
And
Group, I may ask you?
Nepal has not taken any.
Which Eminent Persons Group?
You're stopping me only. If you do not let me speak
Sir,
at all,
I'm known to ask
it's
counter
pointless to
questions,
have me on
Mister.
the
I don't understand why.
No.
Do I have to be subservient to you?
Let me first respond to.
Do I have to be
General
subservient to you?
If you do not, no, please, Arnav, if you do not let me respond to Mr. Bakshi, then there is absolutely no point of having me on the television.
No, but am I not allowed to counter you on anything?
Do not let me respond to that. Then why do you have me on the television? Can I respond to Mr. Bakshi's point of view? Can I or not?
Go on, but I also have a right to respond to you if you're factually incorrect. That's all I'm saying.
Of course, you made a lot of points. I have not been able to respond to you also. You've said that Nepal has taken unilateral action. No, Nepal has not taken unilateral action. Mr. Bakshi said Prime Minister has taken certain positions. I cannot defend how he is running the government. I am opposition. There are certain things on which only people from his party.
Tell me one thing. Now I want to counter you, sir. Sir, now I want to counter you, sir. Do I have the permission to counter you? You made your point. I want to counter you, and there are other panelists. Sushant also wants to counter you. Explain to me one thing. Sir, I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Rijal. I show no disrespect. But I am not a believer in diplomatic extrasensory perception. I am not a believer in geostrategic telepathy. And I'll tell you why. I will prove to you on my program that you are acting as Chinese puppets. Don't mind the straightforward language I use. I'll tell you why. Because what you are saying, your Eminent Persons Group and all did, is something that China announced on the 9th of August 2017. What are you saying, sir? How did China read your mind? And allow me to give you the example of this. Let me elucidate this, sir. So with the respect to you, I want to elucidate it. I want to elucidate it. I want to elucidate it. I want to elaborate on it. I want to explain to you. I want to explain to you. I want to explain to you, not with the intention to corner you, sir. I need to explain to you. I need to explain to you one statement. One statement, Mr. Rijal. One statement, sir. One statement, sir. One statement. Wang Wenli is a Chinese official. In 2017, India and China were locked in eyeball-to-eyeball situation in Doklam, in Sikkim. China eventually retreated. because there was such massive mobilization on the Indian side. They realized.
How many-
Now let me tell you. Listen to the full story. Listen to this, Mr. Renji. Please listen. Let me complete. I request you to let me complete. I'll take 10 more seconds. At that time, you know what the Chinese said? The Chinese said the following: What will New Delhi do? We have been defeated in Doklam, okay. But what will you do if we enter through the Kalapani region of Nepal? You go and check. How did the Chinese say that in 2017?
You're just making it.
I am not making it up, sir. You are astonishingly unaware of this. This is a comment made by Wang Wenli, Deputy Director General of the Boundary and Ocean Affairs, speaking in response to External Affairs Minister then Sushma Swaraj.
Not how it's done.
Sir,
I very strongly resent it. You're making a point of.
I am asking you, I am only asking you, sir, how did the Chinese read your mind?
Are you making a statement?
How did the Chinese read your mind? Question. Not statement. Question. How did the Chinese read your mind? Question. No statement. How did the Chinese read your mind?